Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's live stream. Today, we're back with another broadcast on Stryd Footpath. We have some really exciting analysis and new features to share with you. My name is Angus Nelson. I am streaming from the Stryd headquarters here in Boulder, Colorado. The weather's getting nice here, so good time for some running. Good time to get out and collect some more footpath data and share it with you all. So let's jump into it here. Let's talk about the new features and the new analysis. So the new feature is one that's been requested by many of you in the Stryd community. Many of you have hypothesized this feature is coming, and now it's finally here, and that is the new mapping visualization feature. And I'm going to be demoing this, showing you how it all works, but it provides some incredible context around your Stryd footpath data so you can really understand the impact of surface conditions and environment has on your Stryd footpath. And then additionally, I'm going to be doing some interval analysis. For anyone who joined me last week for some analysis, I have a follow-up point there on some of the modifications I made to my training from those learnings and how it impacted my footpath. So that's going to be really awesome as well to see that whole process of collecting the data, learning from it, making changes to the training, and then ultimately how those changes had an impact on the footpath here. So let's take a look at the new feature first, the new mapping visualization. So I know many of you have already seen our new blog post on this feature. Maybe some of you have already tried it out. It is live now at stryd.com/powercenter. So for any activities you already have or any activities you will be recording, you now receive the context of the map. So this short little video here shows how this feature works in practice, where I've selected a section of that timeline. My Stryd footpath is updating in real time in 3D space, and it's showing the section of the road I ran on as well. And I'm going to be doing a demo of this. So we're going to be taking a look at what this looks like live on PowerCenter to show you how this all works. So when you load up the footpath visualization tool on PowerCenter, we're now met with a new toggle on the left-hand side here, and that is the map toggle. So you can see that, you tap that, it turns on similar to the 3D toggle. You turn both of those on, you now have the 3D view and the map. And I'm going to be showing a few use cases on how you can apply this and make use of this in your training here. So here I have a half marathon time trial. I ran this on a loop course, where I ran this looped twice. And one of the really cool use cases we can do is compare the same section of road across the loops. So what I can do is I can grab that first activity I've already loaded up here. I can hit duplicate and duplicate on so I have two different timelines here. And what we can see now, I have two maps on the right-hand side as well. And we can see how dynamic, quick, and easy to use this feature is. So I can select a section of the timeline, and I can see that effort on the map on the right-hand side here. So now I've selected one section of the top timeline on the loop course, and I can select that same section below, and we can see, I effectively have the same data here, but since this is a loop, I can advance this forward, and I can grab that same section later in the run on that second loop here. And now we can see, of course, on the same section of road, my power output changed a little. We can see the impact that changing power output had on my footpath. So I'm going to be talking a little more on how to actually analyze this and follow the three-step process of collecting, selecting comparable runs, apples to apples comparisons, changing only one variable, and then learning from your data. I'm going to be talking about that a little later in the broadcast, but from this quick demo, we can see how this feature works here. And one of the cool use cases, if you're running on a loop course, you can select that same section of road. And another great use case is if you're doing the same run often, you can also select that same section of road here. So I've loaded up two different runs here on the same course, and I have selected two different timelines here where I can see this straight section here in the top timeline and the same straight section in the bottom timeline. And now I can make an apples to apples comparison on the same section of road across two different runs. So this just allows you to dial in with even more precision to really get those best comparisons. So the groundbreaking use cases, we all know the groundbreaking use cases of the Stryd Footpath, helping you in terms of injury recovery, the impact of drills, the impact of footwear, how your performance transforms over time, and fatigue. And when you add in the context of the surface conditions, it helps amplify and improve all these use cases. Now you can see how you're performing in the same section of road to eliminate one more variable and get those best comparisons. So at Stryd, one of our core beliefs is that deeper understanding leads to improved running. These latest updates to the Stryd Footpath introduce an unprecedented level of insight to your training with the advanced 3D visualization and now the detailed mapping, giving you that novel perspective on every run. So these tools are absolutely crucial, we believe, for anyone to enhance recovery, monitor fatigue, optimize performance, or select the appropriate footwear. So once again, these features are available now. You can go to stryd.com/power center, go to the Footpath visualization tab, and then enable that map and start analyzing your data. So I want to talk a little more on the analysis strategy. So that final step, personalizing your training, making changes based on what you learned from your Footpath analysis, and then using that to modify your training. I want to do a follow-up on last week's broadcast on this point. So the example we had last week was an interval analysis. So my workout last week, I was doing repeats on the treadmill. Repeat one was strong, but by the third repeat, not soon afterwards, I was pretty fatigued, and we actually saw that in the Footpath data. So first, I made this apples to apples comparison where I'm running on the treadmill. All the factors are controlled for on the treadmill, where the speed's the same. The surface is the same. Of course, I didn't change the incline. And then I started looking at the data to understand how my Stryd Footpath responded. So that solid line there, that is repeat number one, where I felt really good, just starting the workout off. And then shortly after, when I reached repeat three, that's the dash line there on the Stryd Footpath, I started to feel fatigued. So I analyzed the footpath changes, I identified the key indicators, and I was mindful, of course, of my performance and feel. And we can see I had pretty big metric changes when I started to take those performance factors into account, such as I had increased my cadence, my Stryd Footpath shrunk, my leg spring stiffness decreased slightly, and my impact loading rate also decreased when I started to feel fatigued. And I viewed this as all pretty negative changes. My asymmetry increased as fatigue set in. Like I said, the footpath shrank, and I wasn't back kicking as high. And then those leg spring stiffness and impact loading rate values decreased, and cadence increased as I fatigued. So my big takeaway from this workout, when I started to, after I finished my analysis, now it's time to adjust and see how I can make changes to my training so I have a better outcome for my next workout. And I believe the challenge that I had was because I'd taken a week off from doing this type of workout, and I wasn't really prepared. That's why I fatigued so quickly. So my resolution based on analyzing last week's workout was to lower the speed slightly and see if I can complete the workout and improve the performance. So that's exactly what I did. I took my learnings from the first workout and I applied it to the second. And now we can see how that looks. And I'm making that apples to apples comparison again, where I'm comparing repeat one against the final repeat on the treadmill. And subjectively, I did feel much stronger here. And just doing that comparison, the footpaths from last week versus this week, we can see that image that we just looked at on the left-hand side of last week's footpaths. The solid line, of course, being the first rep when I'm just starting out, I'm feeling good, and the dash line being that last repetition where I've started to fatigue a bit and I'm not feeling. Of course, I worked hard, and the last week I had to stop the session early because I was so fatigued. This week, of course, I lowered the intensity and I was able to finish the session. And I have a far more favorable footpath pattern where you can see I've lost a little back kick, but not nearly as much as last week. The asymmetry increase is not quite as big. And I'm actually maintaining pretty strong on the left-hand side, and the right side dropped a little, but that's been a common pattern in my data, so I'm not really concerned about that. So Based on that three-step analysis project, I have now gone through all three steps where I made the accurate comparisons with my data. I understood how I responded. Now I've personalized my training and I've got a far more favorable outcome. So moving forward, I think I do want to continue to increase the speed and intensity of my workouts. So I'm going to be amping that intensity back up and seeing if I can maintain, that stronger stride footpath pattern during my next interval session next week. So how is this all made possible? It's made possible with Stryd Duo. So everyone out there running with Stryd Duo, these features, this analysis process is all available to you now with the Stryd Footpath features. For anyone who's looking to start collecting their footpath data, you can embark on your journey today. So Stryd Duo is available for order. We're shipping out all across the world, whether you're in the US, Europe, or elsewhere in the world. We have stock available and we're shipping those out so you can start collecting your Stryd Footpath data as soon as next week if you order today at stryd.com/store. So if you're already running with the next gen Stryd, you just need to purchase one additional next gen Stryd pod to create the Stryd Duo. If you don't have Stryd yet or you're running a previous version of Stryd, we have a awesome deal for you at stryd.com/store, and that is the Stryd Duo Plus membership bundle. And that gives you Stryd Duo plus a 12-month commitment to the Stryd membership so you can access the incredible footpath visualizations. So now, yeah, we have some time for questions. So if anyone has any questions, drop those in the chat either on YouTube or Facebook, and I will be answering those. If you want to be notified of future live streams, I encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and tap that subscribe button and set up notifications so you can be notified when we go live in the future. And also follow us on Facebook if you're watching there, and that'll also give you put a Stryd in your feed for the next time we go live or introduce new features. So we do have some comments from folks. Lux Moggy says, "So funny, I asked for this last time. Can see that crossing the road in some corners gives some funny footpaths." And that's such a great point there on the analyzing the critical sections of your path, because you want to select straight sections in most parts so you get a very comparable view into your Stryd footpath. Where if you are crossing the road, you're stopping, you're having to take turns, that can definitely cause some changes on either the left or right side based on how you're turning, which can be more difficult to analyze because it's one more variable in your analysis. And as we know from that analysis process, that it's always best to try and minimize those number of variables so you get the best apples to apples comparison. So we've been working on this for a few weeks now, and I'm glad we're able to finally deliver it. And thanks everyone for your comments there, because comments like Lux Moggy's, those are what motivate our feature development. Learning Fast says this new feature really is amazing. Great job. And yeah, I totally agree. If you have footpaths, I encourage you to go play with it right now. It's so fast. It updates in real time. As you drag that slider, you can just see the map immediately. It makes it so easy to collect those select those comparable sections of your run. Pretty cool, but now I'm going to expect something new every week. And we have plenty of new things coming, and we've had releases practically every week now. So we're going to keep that up for as long as we can. Of course, we won't always have new feature releases every week, but we do have some more really incredible things coming that are going to help elevate Stryd Footpath and other features. So definitely stay tuned. Like I said, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Keep an eye on your email, and we're going to have new feature releases soon. Comment from Simon saying, "So far things are good. Would be fantastic to access the Stryd Footpath from the app though." So we do have some updates in the works there to make Stryd Footpath more accessible on the web. So definitely stay tuned for that. That'll make it easier to access on the web when you're viewing it on mobile. So we do want to make Stryd Footpath more accessible, and definitely stay tuned for news on that. Comment from Aaron that says, "The map feels a bit cramped on the right. It would be nice to have a larger map view, perhaps toggling the center of the page between the footpath and map so you can dial in closer on routes." And great feedback. That's definitely something we're considering. So We have some major feature releases coming up and some more minor feature releases to improve the usability of these different features, take it to the next level. So great feedback there, and we're definitely gonna have more coming on that line. Comment from Lux Magi that says, I can see in Footpath and with impact loading rate that something is wrong with my left side. How best to get advice about this? So, of course, I haven't seen your data, so it's hard for me to comment on whether something's wrong or right. But it's important to follow the analysis process. So, there will be differences between left and right. And just because there are differences between left and right, that doesn't necessarily mean that something is good or bad. It's always important to view that footpath and over time. You want to make, you know, comparisons over time to see how it transforms because likely in most cases most runners kind of select a running form that's optimal to their current body status and current body state. So trying to make changes to that or think something's wrong, that might not be the most optimal mindset on how to approach things. So one of the information articles we do have on the Stryd Help Center is how to use Stryd Footpath data. It shows a series of how different runners' footpath looks from the back view, and you can see every runner is different. Left and right always differs. You can see even in my footpaths, I have differences between left and right. So it's always more important to see how these things transform over time rather than look at them in a single snapshot. Here's an awesome comment from Jonathan Douglas. I shared my footpaths leading to a recent injury with my physical therapist, and he was instantly able to identify likely causes of the injury with recovery exercises and a plan on how to fix future runs. That is fantastic, and that is a good comment. So if for example, in the injury case, it might make sense to go seek help from a professional, add this additional data into context for their decision making, and better understand how you perform out in the field. That might be useful information for a professional like a physical therapist. So that could be a great tip for Lux Magi on if you're looking for advice on your Stryd footpath and you feel like you might want to seek help from a physical therapist. They might be able to make suggestions and definitely share in the Stryd community. We're all learning. We can all kind of give ideas. Of course, no one is a expert. We're not doctors, but we can always give perspectives that you can interpret and possibly make optimal decisions for your own training and running routine. And a comment from Learning Fast. I honestly would choose not running over running with my stride without my stride foot pods. I'm so motivated by the data I get. I just wouldn't run without them. And thank you. That is so flattering to us. We really appreciate that, and that's why we do it. I mean, we build features. We want to enhance your running. I mean, we're all passionate runners here at Stryd, and whenever we hear those comments, of course, we want to build great things for ourselves, but even more so, we want to build great things for you. So we really appreciate that. And that's all the comments and questions we have. So, I really appreciate everyone tuning in. I'm glad that everyone's feeling good about the feature, making good use out of it. And we're going to be back again soon with more analysis, more tips to help you get more to your Stryd footpath, more features to help you get more to your Stryd footpath data. So definitely follow along, stay subscribed to the Stryd YouTube channel, the Stryd Facebook page. And if you are interested in running a Stryd Duo, we have that available for sale at stryd.com/store to start collecting that data and building up your profile of footpaths over time so you can get even more to your data as you just kind of keep contributing to that repository. So that's all I have for today. Thanks.